Now we have much and many. Much and many are known as quantifiers. They are used to talk about quantities, amount or degrees. تستخدم لي عندما نتحدث عن الكمية amount or degrees أو الدرجة, along with a lot of or lots of, مع a lot of and lots of, and suggest a large quantities of something. When do I use much and when do I use many? شو كنت أستخدم much وشو كنت أستخدم money. Many is used with a plural, دائما تستخدم مع الجمع. Countable nouns مع الأسماء المعدودة. For example, when we say dogs, dollars, tables, and children. All these are countable nouns. Much is used with singular. much دائما تستخدم مع المفرد. Uncountable nouns مع الأسماء الغير معدودة. For example, happiness, music, water, and time. All of them are uncountable nouns. So, for example, here we have, there aren't many doctors in the hospital today. Doctors are countable noun and are plural here. So before it we put many, not much. Many Brits choose to retire in Spain. يقول معظم البريطانيين اختاروا الاستقالة in Spain. Brits or British people are countable. We have many Brits, so Brits are countable. It contains S. There isn't much light in this room, so let's open the curtains. Light is uncountable. فالlight هنا يكون غير معدود, قبلها يكون استخدام much, singular and uncountable. Too much money was spent on the royal wedding. Money is uncountable. المونey هنا النقود غير معدودة, فقبلها يكون استخدام much. We usually use much and many with questions and with negative statement. غالبا ما تستخدم much والmany ويا questions with questions مع الأسئلة and with negative statement. Let us see. For example, we have, how many apples do you want? This is with what? With a question. هنا استخدمته ويا السؤال. How many apples do you want? Okay. How much time does it take to get to your house from here? The first one we have money, so we use a plural countable noun. And in the second we have time, singular uncountable noun. I don't think many people agree with her views on marriage. So we have people, so we use many people. There wasn't much noise coming from the house even though there was a party going on. Okay? So, we sometimes use much and many in positive statement. أحيانا تستخدم الماتش والماني with positive statement وهي الجمل المثبتة. For example, they are used with so or with as or with to. ممكن إنه تكون قبلها so, as or to. For example, I think he has too many tattoos. I don't like them. Too many. فاستخدمت to قبلها. Okay, فهذه الجملة تكون مثبتة. Sarah has so much money at the moment. Okay, we use so. As I say, so, maybe as, maybe to. In the first we use to, and now we use so. She must be earning a lot. John makes as much money as Sarah. Okay, so we use as, so, and to. With what? With positive statement. That's mean with affirmative statement. Now, if much or many are used before article, يقول إذا much والmany استخدمناها قبل الارticle اللي هي definite والindefinite, الA والآن or the, or maybe with demonstratives, this or that, maybe with possessives, my or your, with the pronouns him or them, they are followed by of. فإذا كان عندي موجود a or an, the, this or that, you, your, or my, with him or them, and so on, they should be followed by of. For example here, how much of this book have you read? Okay, look at the sentence, of this book. Before this we put of. And in the second, not many of the students come from privileged background. Okay, privileged background that mean ما تكون عندهم اللي بعضهم يقول أتوا بعض الطلاب أتوا من خلفيات مميزة. Okay, so we use of students. Okay, I couldn't ride a bike from much of my childhood. How many of them are under the age of 30? We have them, so before it we have of. Okay, here we have my before it of. Okay, and we have the before it of, this before it of. So if we have the article demonstratives, we have possessive or a pronoun, so before it should be of. In spoken English, sir, generally it is more common to use a lot of or lot of and positive statement. ممكن إنه نستخدم a lot of and lots of. This is more informal, لكن الجملة تكون more informal غير رسمية. For example here, the shop had a sale on, so I spent a lot of money. Okay? The sentence is informal. Now, we have a lot of time, so there is no need to rush. Okay? And Anna has lots of friends, so she's always busy. I think a lot of music sound the same these days. That's all we have about what? Much and money. And now we have what? We have a few and little. Okay? A few and little are quantifiers when they are used on their own. They have a negative meanings to suggest not as much or not as many as might be expected. Okay? So, a few and little are quantifiers when they are used on their own. They have a negative meaning of suggest not as much or not as many as might be expected. فهنا بنستخدمهم بالجملة راح يكون negative meaning to suggest. But be careful when a little and few are used with an article, a little or few, both words mean some. لما نستخدمهم with article with a or an or the فراح يكون معناهم some. And have a positive meaning راح يكون معناها positive. Okay? But when it is come along, the meaning will be negative. When do I use few and when do I use a little? A little is used with singular uncountable nouns والجمل الأسماء المفردة الغير معدودة a little. And few we use it with a plural countable nouns to mean not as much or not as many. Okay, معناها راح يكون not as much or not as many دائما يكون استخدامهم مع الأسماء المعدودة جمع. For example here, the play made a little sense to me, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. Sense is uncountable. فهنا sense شعور uncountable. The play didn't make much sense. A little is used with singular uncountable nouns, and a few is used with a plural countable nouns to mean some. We have a little time before I play starts, so why don't we get a drink? So That means some time. Okay, we have a little space in our car if you want a lift. There are a few good candidates that have applied, so I'm sure we will find someone for the job. The meaning here indicate for what? For some, a few, a little time, as a meaning of some time, okay, or some space or some good. We stayed in Spain a few days before going on to France. A few, that means some days before going on to France. The last one we have each and several. As determiners, the differences between several and each is that several is separate, so it is a specific and distinct and particularly, while each is all or very. That's meaning general. Okay, that's all we have about the countable and non-countable noun. Wait us in the next video to explain about preposition.